Hey guys, how's it going? Before we get into today's card, I just want to say I see your comments about the up closeness of the videos. I have found solutions to that barrier that I was having, so moving forward after this video, everything should be a little bit more zoomed out. Thank you so much for your patience on that, and let's get into today's card. So recently I've done a video on how I create these backgrounds. They really are my favorite backgrounds to create. So I'll link a card up in the corner to how I made those. But for today's card, I used Gina K Designs Delicate Snowflakes Cling Background Stamp. And today I used Uncharted Mariner, Speckled Egg, Peacock Feathers, Wilted Violet, Picked Raspberry, Mermaid Lagoon, and Seedless Preserves. I'll be making a shaker using the Lawn Fawn Giant Outlined Oh What Fun die. And I've cut 2 die cuts out of 110-pound cardstock, and currently I have a outline from glitter cardstock. In the end, I do end up changing that to white 110-pound cardstock. To give this card some dimension, I'm going to join 2 of the die cuts together, and I'm making sure that I'm going around all of the letters with the glue before I stick them together, as well as the little kind of stars on the side and the border. And once I have those lined up, I'll add more glue to the back of those, making sure again that I get around all the letters, the exclamation point, before I adhere it to my background. I don't need all of the background today, so I'm just going to pick kind of an area that I like the most for my shaker card and press it down. And I need to make sure that all the letters and the entire border is secured to the background. I'll be using my Stamp Perfect tool to add some weight to that, just to really press it down and make sure that it's fully secured. And once it's all dry and secure, I'm just going to trim that down with my paper trimmer quick. And then it's time to add the glitter. I do want to make sure that it's mostly snowflakes in this card, and I'm just putting them in the negative spaces. The technique I use to add the glitter to the letters is easier to show you on a darker surface as opposed to the card. So I placed some glitter on the inside of a coffee filter, folded it over nice and crisp. In this demonstration, I rolled it into a point, and then I can just flick the glitter kind of into a really controlled place and at a really controlled rate. I'm sure that a hole in a plastic bag, in a corner of a plastic bag, or a disposable piping bag would work as well. But I really like the rigidity of the coffee filter. When I add my glitter, I don't roll it up. I keep it just folded in half really crisply. And then I can just kind of scratch and draw the glitter into the outline. With this technique, I found it was a lot like drawing or writing the glitter into the outline. I didn't have to flick it this way. So my card front kind of got warped between the wetting it for creating the background and drying it with my heat gun. So when I pressed down on certain areas, it kind of flicked just a tiny bit of the fine glitter into the negative space where I really didn't want it. I'm taking just the very corner of a microfiber towel. I used both damp and dry, and I found that they worked pretty much the same. The thing about the damp towel is you have to be careful because too much moisture will react your background. And I also found while I was putting the glitter into the letters, some of it kind of got on top of the outline. And I didn't want anything to interfere with the adhesion to the acetate. And I found that the pad of my finger, just kind of lightly brushing it back into place, worked the best for me. You could also try a paintbrush if you would like. And inevitably, doing that, some of it didn't go within the outline. It kind of went into the negative space. But that's no problem. I just went back over it with my microfiber towel until I was happy with the result. And I'm using super glue to adhere the acetate to the front of this shaker. Is super glue necessary? Probably not. But it's the glue that I prefer when I really want things to stay. The important thing is that I'm making sure that the outline of the letters is covered in glue so that the acetate adheres to the entire letter. And with super glue, at least, there's inevitably like kind of little areas that don't get any glue, but that's okay. I would rather have just a little bit less glue than too much because I don't want it to seep into the glitter and get all clumpy. So I'm going to press my acetate to the front of my shaker, and I can see that there are some areas that don't have a lot of glue in them, kind of little, just really tiny gaps between the glue spots. So I'm just taking my finger and I'm pressing and I'm rubbing kind of with my nail around the outline just to make sure that everything is adhered and that I can eliminate those bubbles as much as possible. And also I made sure that there was glue around the border of the card front as well. And now that everything's adhered down, I'm just going to trim off the excess acetate. And don't worry about it, it's going to look a little bad at this point because the super glue or your adhesive, whatever you're using, will kind of get kind of smushed a little bit on top and it's really noticeable. But we're going to fix that by covering it up with another die cut. And like I mentioned before, I did change to 110-pound cardstock because I felt that the glitter on the inside of the letters just wasn't as visible as I wanted it to be, and this was my solution. After all that hard work, I wanted the glitter within the letters to be seen. And even though this die cut isn't holding anything inside, I wanted to make sure that I went around with glue around all the letters as well as the little kind of stars, just so that it wasn't kind of loose on the front. Everything was held down tightly and nice and neat. Now, even though I have something to line the inside of the O up with, I wanted to make sure that I got proper alignment. So I'm just going to use the letter O within the outside of the outline to find the proper inside for the inside part of the outline. Once I adhere that down, I'll take the letter away, and this is how I also found the proper position for the rest of the inside of the O, like underneath the shaker. I had found the proper alignment for the little inside space of the A the same way. For the final portion of the A, I just popped it on top of what I already laid down. I kind of felt like the little stars on the side of the wording needed a little bit of sparkle, so I'm using Perfect Pearl in Confetti White. I mixed it with a little bit of water and just painting it on each of the little stars. Out of Lawn Fawn pearlescent vellum, I cut a 4¼ by 5½ inch stitched rectangle using the largest rectangle from Lawn Fawn large stitched rectangle stackable lawn cut dies. Say that 5 times fast. And I'm just using some liquid glue to adhere that down. You can also use a tape if you prefer. And I used my stamping tool on top just to add some weight with a drill to make sure it was adhered nice and flat. And the final thing to do is to add our card front to a card base. I'm using liquid adhesive, but as you can see what the liquid adhesive does to the vellum, so I'm staying away from the very edges of the vellum. I just put adhesive behind where our shaker portion was. And our Oh What Fun shaker card is complete. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.